Okay, Carrie, are you
I'm
on?
here. Yeah.
Okay. What fabulous story do you have to tell us tonight?
Well, I had a real bad fight with my mother-in-law.
Oh, really?
I mean, I screamed and I hollered at her for 10 minutes. I told her, why in the world did she vote for Joe Biden? Then I realized I was at the cemetery. See, all the dead people voted for Joe Biden, and she's not here anymore. So.
Yeah, I can see where you stuck your foot in it there.
Yeah, and I'm trying to wash it off.
She might forget it in about 10 years. Well, now that you're through with the sad story, how about a good story? Oh, I think I lost him. Yeah, he fell off. Hold on, folks. Well, I don't know what happened. We've been having a lot of crazy communication problems here lately.
Maybe his mother-in-law rose from the grave and took him by the neck.
Maybe he shouldn't have told us what he told us.
Yeah. I was going to comment and say dig her up and hang her again.
Yeah. Oh boy. He is still on the job.
I'm back. I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Worried about you, huh?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, everybody was worried about you.
Yeah, it's just one of them things. Not everything works out the way I want it to. So, does anybody have a question?
I got a story.
After what you told us, we was afraid your mother-in-law showed up.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, somebody said they had a story to tell. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Guy from Orange County, Texas.
Hey, Guy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Glad you asked.
Good to have you.
Thank you. A good friend of mine and I sent the petition to the tax court the 1st of July. Matter of fact, I signed mine on July 4th, 2020. It took about 4 months or so to get a reply, but my friend got a reply from the chief counsel with a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. Then about a week later, she got a notice from the U.S. tax court, or correspondence from the U.S. tax court. It's an order of dismissal for lack of jurisdiction. I also, at the same time that she received her notice of motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. I got one, but I've not yet received my granting of the motion. Now, the document that my friend received was 5 pages, and the Internal Revenue Service lied on several occasions, namely that the last statement on page 5 was Respondent's Counsel contacted petitioner, which they did not do. It has been informed that there is no objection to the granting of this motion. Well, my friend wouldn't have entered any objection anyway. But the letter that I received from the Chief Office of Chief Counsel of Internal Revenue was 6 pages long, not 5, as was my friend. And on page 6, let me get to it here. The last sentence states, well, excuse me. The last couple of sentences states that Respondent's Counsel left a voicemail for petitioner, who is me, but has not received a return call, which I was not going to discuss anything over the phone with him, so I did not return a call. Accordingly, Respondent does not know whether the petitioner objects to the granting of this motion. In accordance with Tax Court Rule 50, petitioner, me, is deemed to object. So tell me what that means.
Well, that means nothing. That doesn't mean anything. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to feel bad. What they're going to get what they want anyways. So by you not picking it up, they say you objected, but they still got it. It still says you lack of jurisdiction. So it doesn't matter if you object or not. It makes no difference because so that it doesn't mean absolutely nothing. And the good thing is you didn't call them back. And when you call them back, what they try to do is they try to get the hook in you. They'll say, wait, before you go, just before you go, hold on, just before you go. See, what happens is you're going to say something that you're going to regret. So it's better if you're going to talk to them to know what you're going to say. So you didn't hurt yourself at all. What you have is the IRS didn't give you what they were supposed to, and they don't have jurisdiction. Now, that's the cornerstone to everything that you're going to do from here on out.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll sign off now. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you so much. No, my pleasure. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they would like to share? Well, maybe it'll be shorty tonight. Well, let me tell you what happened here. I'm helping a gentleman here. Well, maybe he's a woman. I didn't ask. But anyways, we went to the court, and the court, in case for those of you that don't know, but in Texas, all the towns, at least up in the DFW area, and I assume they are everywhere else, they're called home rule cities. Now, what the home rule city means is if the Constitution says no, the law and the state's Constitution says no, and the state law says no, but the city says yes, the city can do whatever they want to because they're self-rule. They do it through ordinances. So what they're doing, though, is if you look at what's happening, and this is happening a lot more now than before. I've been involved with, I think, 6 now when you're being your styling of your case, it'll say the state of Texas versus you, Billy Bob or whatever. What they're saying now is they're saying the state of Texas, the county of Harris. So what you end up doing is you can't win that. That's a non-winnable fight because the state laws and the state rules are different than the county laws and the county rules. But not only that, you're going to be in a county court. The state, so it's just boogered up. So what we're doing is that's what we're using. The old, I don't understand, is the state after me or is the county after me? Where the problem comes, it has to be the state. But now, because of these self-ruled cities, they're putting for an example, the state of Texas and the city of Hearst or the city of Brazoria or the city of Tyler. See? Well, how can you have two entities after you for the same thing? Now, the other issue we're having is in Texas, and I suspect this is everywhere else, but a county and a municipal, they are different, but they're both about the same. The municipal is for the city, and the county is for traffic, but you'll go to municipals for traffic also. That's why I say they're kind of the same. Well, they can't hear criminal cases. So, if you get a speeding ticket and you don't show up, they'll put out a warrant for your arrest. That's how we're attacking it. In other words, if they can't hear criminal, how can they put out a warrant? Because a warrant is for criminal. So what we're doing is we're really stirring them up. We're making how do I say this? We're making their life really, really ugly. But to go back to this other guy that I was telling you about, he went in there and they don't know how to deal with him because the city said he broke the law because he didn't have a permit. So he has signage in his front yard, but it's not permitted, so he got a ticket for it. So what we did is we went around and took pictures of political signs in front yards, and they're not permitted. So the city said, well, we have a waiver. We have a waiver. Political signs don't have to be permitted. So what we did was we went out and got a big sign that says Vote for Trump 2020. Get your headlights fixed here, or whatever it is he's doing. Well, then they said that's not considered a political sign. So we asked them, what's the definition of a political sign? Well, the political sign has to be the political party by itself. So we changed the sign. We put Vote for Trump for 2020. Then we got another sign that says, get your headlights fixed here. So now they're saying, well, no, that doesn't count. I said, well, the political sign is there. It's a political sign. Anyway, we're creating a headache for them. So when he showed up, they pretty much just threw him out because what they did was they said, well, they can't answer the question that we put to them. So what happened was the prosecutor said, well, can we ask for a continuance? And the judge said, yes. How long do you need? He said, till August or September of next year. That's October, whatever. Anyway, it's 11 months away. So they asked to have an extension of time for 11 months. So what we're doing now is we're going to put in a motion to dismiss because of the Speedy Trial Act. We're just constantly overturning the dirt on them. They don't know how to handle it. They're not used to the arguments that we're putting up. Now, if someone would come on here, I want to show you one of the things that we started doing that's becoming very, very effective. Would somebody hit *6 and let me know you're there so I can show you how to defend yourself? Okay, who is this?
This is Eric.
Okay, Eric. Now, I'm the prosecutor, and I'm going to accuse you in front of the judge. Now, here's my accusation. Okay, Judge Eric is the dumbest, most ignorant man in the courtroom. Now, I want you to defend that for me. Now, I want you to defend that.
What's the definition of ignorant?
Just as dumb as a bag of hammers. Come on, let's go. If you don't defend it, I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead.
I've touched the bag of hammers, and they're pretty heavy.
But that's okay. Now let me show you. See, you're trying to defend that. Now let's do the same thing. This time, you're the prosecuting attorney. You tell the judge that I'm the same way, and I'm going to show you how to defend this. Now go ahead.
I think Kerry is the dumbest man in this courtroom.
Thank you. What proof do you have that I'm the dumbest in this courtroom? See, we don't have to defend it. I mean, we don't have to prove anything. What we're trying to do is we're trying to prove it. So, the prosecuting attorney, what proof do you have that I'm the dumbest in this courtroom? Then shut your mouth. Don't say too much. Now, they're going to have to come back and say, well, because. Because why? Well, just because. Well, just because why? See, now they're on the run, and this is happening everywhere. For an example, you get a ticket, and how do you plead? Well, the reason they want you to plead guilty, not guilty, or nolo contendere is because the state that gave you the ticket cannot prove you're guilty. It's impossible because that's a negative. Because, see, for them to prove you're guilty, they would have to prove that the transportation code was for you. They would have to prove that you're in commercial. There's all these things they have to prove. So rather than that, they're going to say, you can say not guilty. Now, you have to prove your innocence. You can't prove your innocence either. So, because we're trying to prove our innocence, you're the most, Eric, you're the most ignorant individual in the state of Texas. Well, no, I'm not. I don't even live in Texas. I live in Missouri. Well, then so what you're doing is you're running after your tail. The answer is, what proof do you have that I'm the most ignorant, the stupidest, whatever it is? Well, what proof do you have that I ran a stop sign? What proof do you have that I was speeding? What proof do you have? They have to now prove you were speeding. They have to prove that. See, now they have to prove everything. So what's happening is when we walk in, we ask if this court has jurisdiction. They always say yes. So what I do is, for an example, it's a traffic ticket. I don't care what traffic, speeding, running a red light, urinating on the sidewalk, whatever. So what we're saying is, does this court have jurisdiction? The judge always says yes. So then what I do is I say, good. Let me make sure I understand. This is a traffic code court. What's he going to say? No? Oh. They always say, well, yeah. Now we're in the transportation code. I put them in the transportation code. I'm not part of the transportation code. Now, I have it outlined on my paperwork that the transportation code is for commercial use, or it's for this, or it's for that. See, now you can build your whole thing around that. Then when the prosecuting attorney, Terry, you're the stupidest individual in this courtroom. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for noticing. But what proof do you have? Let him do whatever he's going to do. Because this is a traffic code court. So how does the dumbest guy in the courtroom you have no proof on, how does that prove that I'm in traffic? And then shut up. Instead of trying to say, well, see, we say too much. Now, it's the same thing with the IRS. We've gotten a lot of letters this week from the Internal Revenue Service. And what they're saying is, well, we're here under letter, we got letter so-and-so. We see that you haven't filed your 1040 for the last whatever. You're late on your 1040. You're late on your taxes. We go back and we ask them, see, again, what proof do you have that I didn't pay my taxes? So you didn't pay taxes in the last 5 years. Well, what proof do you have that I didn't pay them? And then shut up. They're going to come back and say, according to 6948 or whatever it is. That don't look that up because that doesn't mean anything. I'm just using that as an example. It could be 6239, whatever they're saying. Well, guess what? That's outside of their legal right. So now they're chasing their tail. We got them chasing their tail now. They don't know what to do. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bully you. Now, I told this story a long time ago, but my dad grew up during World War II. So what happened was he worked for the phone company, and we moved around a lot. And the reason we moved around a lot because my dad, of course, quit high school to go to because of the war. So he kept trying to get a better job. So we moved from one end of the state to the other. So we moved 4 or 5 times. Every time we moved, I would get picked on because, oh, you're the newbie. So one year I said, we're going to fix this. So one year, the kid that I was 12 or 13, something like that, maybe 10, I don't remember. I just remember the incident. He was about twice my size because he's been in the same grade for 4 years or something. So he come and said, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I collect your lunch money every Monday. If you don't give it to me, I beat you up. Well, I said, oh, how do you know you can take me? He says, well, ask anybody. I walked over there and I kicked him in the groin as hard as I could. He fell down like a bag of potatoes and started crying. I reached in his pocket, turned him inside out, took all of his money and left. Well, that's what I realized we have to do with the IRS. They're saying, if you don't give me so-and-so, I'm going to beat you up. Well, how do you know you can do it? So what we're doing is we're using Title 26 against them. I'm not using this. I have people ask me, well, what about going with a trust, or go there with oh Jesus, all kinds of stuff that they're trying. I don't understand none of that. I tell them that you can do whatever you want, but what I do is I go there and say, you're outside your legal grounds. So what proof do you have that I owe you because this is what the IRS says? So I got a letter from the IRS telling me that I can't use Title 26 because it has no legal effect. So I'm so frustrating to them that they're giving me stuff that it doesn't make any sense to me what they're giving me. They're giving me all kinds of crazy stuff. But what we're doing is we're instead of panicking, let's go back to somebody else. Is somebody else on the phone that can come so I can ask you a question?
Lay it on me.
Okay. Now, you're in court. Your mama wears army boots. Now, you got to defend that. You're in court. If you don't defend it, we'll put you in jail. Your mama wears army boots.
Have you seen them? Have you seen her wear army boots?
I sure have. Yes, sir. Now you're on the defense. Do you know what the real answer to that is? Wow. What proof do you have that my mother wears army boots? See? You can't tell me. Did you see them? Sure did. Because they'll lie. They will lie. And the judge lets them do it. See? What proof do you have that my mama wears army boots? Well, I saw her. No, you didn't. My mom's dead. My mom's feet won't fit in them. My mom's got 2 left feet. My mom only has 1 foot. See? Now I can go and run them ragged. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, instead of trying to I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving legal advice, but see, the guy that just talked to me, what state do you live in? So I can show you using your state. I'll try to help you. What state do you live in?
Texas.
Okay, good. So my question to you is, I was born in Michigan. I still say, you guys, what do you say in Texas?
Y'all.
Okay, so here's what you just said. Well, you guys means I pull my pants down in front of my sister and I poke my mother in the eye. Is that what y'all means? See what you just did? You walked right in it. Now what? See, yeah, now you have to defend it. Now you have to defend it, but that's right where they want you. Now let's do it the opposite way. You're from Texas. What are we say y'all. What do you say in Michigan? I want to show you how I answer everything, and it frustrates them. Let's do the same thing this time.
Well, in Texas, we say y'all. What do you guys say in Michigan?
Thank you for asking. I don't know what y'all means.
Okay.
Okay? It means okay. Well, we say okay. You say y'all, we say okay. You just gave me my way out, didn't you?
Yeah.
See? You. Well, wait a minute. I didn't mean okay. You said it. So, Your Honor, I want him put in jail for, or I say, since he don't know, I want that stricken from the record. Well, we can't do that. Then I object. I'm going to appeal. I'm going to appeal on the fact that you're asking questions that there's no answer to. See, I always set myself up in the positive position. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay, now, you're from Texas. I was born in Michigan. If I kick you in the groin, would it hurt?
Kick who
well, I assume I kick you in the groin, would it hurt?
It might. Hurt who? Yeah.
It might? Wait, right. It might? See? Do you see how the whole story's changed now, hasn't it? See?
Right.
Okay, there you're back to. See, all I do is make them tell me what they're saying. See? Okay, the guy that's from Texas, do you know what an alligator is?
No.
Okay. You don't know what an alligator is, okay? Well, go to Florida, go to Florida, or go. See, now I got free reign to you. I've got free reign on you. Or go to Louisiana. It's that big reptile that climbs up there and they'll eat you. See, now I can tell you what it is because you don't know what it is. You can't defend that position. Now ask me the same question.
Do you know what an alligator is?
Thank you for asking. I think so, but would you tell me what it is? See? Well, you tell me what it is. Oh, an alligator? Well, what it is it's a chocolate bar with peanuts on it that has caramel over the top, and it's dipped in ice cream, rolled in dipping dots, poured on. So I'm just going to keep going until they stop me. They gave me free reign. That's how I do everything. See? Instead of, I never put myself in a position that I have to defend. Does that make sense?
Certainly.
Okay. If I was to bite you on the cheek and take a chunk out of your cheek, and I mean a big chunk, it was gone, completely gone, would that hurt?
Hurt who?
See how simple that is? Never mind. I'm not. Never mind. Because see, as soon as I say it would have hurt you, absolutely. Because later when I use that argument, we've already defined it as hurt you. See, do you see where I'm coming from?
Right.
See, because it's too open. There's too many things that are open. We can't let them have that in. Now, you're from Texas. When I was down here, my dad came down to see me once, I don't know, 10 or 12, 15 years ago. He's dead now. He came down here, and I took him to a steakhouse in Fort Worth. And they had on the menu, they had Texas French fries. Do you know what, you're from Texas, so would you tell everybody what Texas French fries are?
How would I know?
You're from Texas.
Well, not the Texas French fries in DFW might be different than the Texas French fries in Austin.
You see what you're doing? You're protecting yourself. That's right. See?
Oh, I did right? Hallelujah.
Yeah, but see, do you see? Well, I don't know what they are because I live in Austin. In Texas French fries in Austin, they're sweet potatoes rolled in cabbage, dipped in grease, rolled in peanuts, wiped across. See, then they're baked. That's what they are. Wow. Okay, never mind. See, you've diluted, you've neutered their question. Anytime they give me the opportunity, see, I'm going to make a fool of them because I can. Doesn't that make sense? Instead of, well, what this guy said, it was bull testicles cut and deep fried. Oh, well, see, now the whole story changes. Well, I thought that was something else. See, but once you answer them, now you're stuck with it because that's what they do. They give you that red herring. Doesn't that make sense?
Certainly. Don't answer questions.
Well, you got to answer them or they'll put you out. So let me ask you a question. Do you like females or do you like males?
How much are the females?
Well, they cost more. They cost more than males. So do you like females or do you like males?
What is the fee?
See what you're doing? You're making me tell you. Okay, females, there's dogs and goats and pigs and giraffes. And see, not all women are females, but not all females are women. See how that just? Do you see this is what these pricks do to us? Doesn't that make sense?
Certainly.
Well, unfortunately, it does to me because I went to see a doctor because everybody said I was nuts. So I went to see a doctor, and the doctor said I have dyslexia. I'm dyslexic. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, that means you reason with a completely different part of the brain than anybody else. I said, oh. So now I realize, hey, that's one of my best friends. Me and old dyslexic here is going to go into this restaurant and buy me a hamburger. See, but what it's done is it's opened up the fact that I can see what they're doing. And because I can see what they're doing, I'm able to stop it before it gets too far out of hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's all nonsense to begin with.
Well, that's right. It's nonsense to begin with. And that's what we have to prepare ourselves for.
Can I ask you a question?
Does anybody have a question?
I have one.
I've got a comment, Kerry.
Please make it.
Okay, in reference to the court case you were talking about, I've got some Supreme Court rulings which just take it for informational purposes. Let me get them now. I've lost them. Okay, here we go. This is a U.S. Supreme Court decision, Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor, all these numbers decided in 1985. It states, all codes, this is quote, all codes, rules, and regulations are for government authorities only, not human creators in accordance with God's laws. All codes, rules, and regulations are unconstitutional and lack due process. The second court case is Self versus
I don't know what happened. It dropped off. Okay, it dropped off. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I need to start over?
Yeah, if you don't mind. You said that what I heard you say is you got a Supreme Court case, and that's all I heard.
Okay, these are two cases I have. The first one is Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor. All the numbers and all behind the site. Decided in 1985, quote, all codes, rules, and regulations are for government authorities only, not human creators in accordance with God's laws. All codes, rules, and regulations are unconstitutional and lack due process. ... End of quote. And the second court case is Self versus Ray. All these numbers behind it.
What was the first part? Was that Self?
I beg your pardon?
What was the name of the case?
Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor. 1985.
And the other one?
Is Self versus Ray, R-H-A-Y.
Okay, was that S-E-L-F?
S-D-L-F, you lost me.
You
Self
said
versus
self.
Ray.
Okay.
In Self versus Ray, the court, quote, "The common law is the real law, the supreme law of the land. The codes, rules, regulations, policy, and statutes are not law, are not the law," end of quote. I just figured I'd pass that on.
What was the date of that case?
It doesn't give a date. You just have to Google it. I would suppose it was passed on to me by a very astute source. So I haven't researched it myself, so I don't have all the pertinent information that pertains to it.
Okay.
Self versus R-H-A-Y. 61 WN in parentheses, second 2 ND 261.
Okay, thank you. Now.
All right. So I don't know.
Thank you so much. Now, the other thing that we're doing is what happens is when you get a letter from the IRS especially, they'll talk in circles. There's a Supreme Court case also that's what is it? I'm trying to vagueness. It's the vagueness doctrine. Anyway, and it says in there if the government gives you a code or makes a writing and it's vague, they have to always rule citizens' favor. So when you get a letter from the IRS and it says, well, and it's vague, I tell them what happens in Title 26, and then I quote the vagueness doctrine. Does that make sense? And I always tell them, since you're vague, what you're saying is vague, I have to be ruled in my favor. Does that make sense? Did I lose? Hey, Ed, did I lose you?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Now, does anybody else have a question? And thank you for that input. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've got my petition ready to go. I've got the money order and everything. I don't know why I've got some level of uncertainty for sending it. I don't know why. It's not that big of a deal, I'm guessing. Just drop it in the mail and be done with it, right?
No. You got to be drugged behind your car first. You have to get beat up, thrown in jail for a month, then you send it in.
Well, they're not doing it to me. I've not been wearing masks or anything, and they haven't touched me. So I don't know what else to do to get thrown in jail.
Well, you want to make it difficult. See, they're not after you. This is the time to do it. See, but that's what you do, because there's two kind of people in this country: those the IRS is after, and those that are going to be after. They're going to be after. And it's better to get it now because you have time to get it than when you have it. You have everything you need. You've got it set up. You have the court order. And the other thing that we're doing, does that make sense for you?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I should do the ROE first or if I should start this process first, because I think this takes longer than the ROE does. Okay,
the ROE is from today forward. They're not after you in 2027.
Ah, okay,
right?
Gotcha. Yeah, so I could send the ROE today and the petition for all years prior, and then be done.
But now you have a gap. So you have a gap now.
So the ROE is effective from the fiscal tax year, right? So it would start from 2020.
Well, no, you can't because no, this is for 2021 on the grounds you didn't get it in before they were due.
But 2020 hasn't been due yet. It's not due till April 15th.
Okay, then you would get 2020. Yes, you'll get 2020 and beyond.
So the petition would be for 2019 back to 2010, 24, right?
Or you can go back to 1999, yeah, or whatever. See, that way you're protected everywhere. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
See, but you can do whatever you want to, but you can bet one thing: if you do the ROE, guess what they're going to do?
Start sending you letters for the old stuff.
That's just my experience.
So probably better to get the docket then before submitting the ROE, even if you don't get the motion to dismiss back yet.
Right, and see what that will do for you. For an example, if you have a docket number, now you have a docket number, and the IRS writes you a letter. You haven't paid, you got a this, we're going to beat your brains out, blah, blah, blah. You send them that docket number saying, well, I'm adjudicating this right now. I'm still in court. So you get an automatic stay. In other words, what we're finding out, if you do your docket number and you send in your court order, you're going to get a docket number, 1234-20, or whatever it is. Now you have something. When the IRS writes you a letter saying, well, you didn't file for 2019 and 2018. Well, no, it hasn't been adjudicated yet. Now you have something that you can get traction on. Well, I'm in court. And then I put in the letter, because I've got a lot of these guys that are doing that. So then we write a letter. Thank you for your letter. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep up the good work, but that's already in the courthouse. If you try to collect on something that's already in the courthouse, you would be interfering with my lawsuit. Doesn't that make sense? That's like filing a bankruptcy. You get an automatic stay. See?
Nice. All right, well, I'll get that in the mail tomorrow then.
I'm not telling you what to do. I don't give legal advice. But if I'm suing the insurance company, for an example, then the insurance company cancels me. Isn't that retaliation?
Sounds a lot like retaliation to me.
Oh, so now I've got a better case than I had.
Bring it on.
See, doesn't that make sense? See, I'm not very good with stuff, but I reason very well. That's that dyslexics that I'm living with. Does that make sense to you?
Yep. I'll
see. So that's just my opinion. Now, my opinion is go back as far as you need to. Don't go back to 1937. You probably don't need to go back that far. But why go?
Yeah, I didn't start filing like 2000 or something like that. So I actually got to go back to 2000.
Okay, that's good. See, because what you do is once you get your docket number, the IRS has said, well, we're going to go ahead and give you a notice of lien. We're going to give you a levy. Well, wait a minute. I'm in the courthouse right now. I'm trying to get this adjudicated. You're interfering with my lawsuit. All of a sudden, they go silent. They get lockjaw. See, I use everything to my advantage. Now, the guy that was just talking to me, can I just have your first name?
Yeah, it's Eric.
Okay, Eric, anything, now listen to me, anything you say can and will be used against you. When was the last time you beat your wife?
Well, thank you for asking. My dog?
Okay, if you want to call your wife your dog, that's your deal, yes.
Well, I was beating the meat the other day, and she walked in on me, and it wasn't a good scene.
The dog?
Do you see? Yeah, you see what happens? See? Do you see how? You see? Well, now ask me the same question, so that I can show you how to answer it. That way, you won't get yourself mired down. And okay, go ahead.
When was the last time you beat your wife?
I'm glad you asked. I don't know. What does beat my wife mean?
Yeah, much simpler.
Okay, well, since you won't tell me, Your Honor, I want that question stricken from the record. See? Let me ask you a question, Eric. Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog?
Well, thank you for asking. What does it mean to poison a dog?
Well, that's where you put arsenic in the dog's food and poison it. Now, go ahead and do it again to me. Ask me the same question. I'm trying to show you how to think these through. Go ahead and ask me the same question.
When was the last time you poisoned your dog?
I've never poisoned my dog. You asked the question wrong. I don't need help with that one. See? Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog? That's a little bit different, and that's how they word stuff. So ask me the same question. Have you stopped?
What was the point? Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog?
Thank you for asking. Which neighbor?
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay, Your Honor, I want that stricken from the record. Boy, you ain't doing too well.
Yeah, I didn't hear your response. It went dead.
Okay, I said which neighbor?
Good point.
Well, Your Honor, he won't tell me which neighbor, so I want that stricken from the record. Now you can't use it again.
Yeah.
See, I'm not telling you want to go to court. That's not it. But now but a lot of us have to end up going to court because for whatever reason we hit the curb with the car, or we ran a stop sign, or whatever. See? So my question to you would be is, see, once they ask me the question, they realize they shouldn't have asked it. See, I've heard this all my life. Attorneys will never ask you a question they don't know the answer to. The last time I went to court, after 2 questions, the attorney said, Your Honor, I don't want to ask him any more questions. So I said to him, then I strike all of his questions right now, struck him from the record. The judge says, well, I can't do that. Okay, then, I object. Why do I object? Because if I object, I can appeal. I'm appealing on the fact that the attorney asked a question that he didn't want to hear the answer to, and the judge won't stop it. So now I'm not talking about speeding or beating my wife or slugging your dog or biting your kid. I'm talking about they asked a question that when I answered it, they didn't like the answer, so they don't want it. See, or I have it strucken from the record. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
See, this makes perfect sense to me. Now, let me ask you a question. Is your name Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. How they're teaching us, what they do is they take us and they throw us in a box. And they'll say, 5 times 5 equals. They throw 4 dominoes in there. It'll say 24, 26, 22, or 27. What's the right answer? Well, there's no right answers. But they're wanting you to pick, let's see. I'm going to say 24 because I don't want to go above. But it's still 1 off. Me, I tell them, I don't know. There ain't no right answer. See what I'm saying? So what they're doing is, and they keep teaching us how to make that same mental all the time. Now, Eric, I'm going to ask you a question. You have a 32-ounce glass on your table. I pour 16 ounces of water in that glass. Now, tell me, how much liquid is in that glass?
Is it half full?
Okay, I'll say that. You're telling me it's half full, but you're wrong. Why are you wrong?
I don't know.
Because it could be half empty, couldn't it? See,
that's why I asked the question. It's half full.
Okay. See, my answer would be, it's half. See,
okay.
It's half. What do you mean? Well, 16 times 2 is 32. It's a 32-ounce glass, and you put 16 ounces in it. It's half. Then I just shut my mouth. Well, we want to know if it's half full or half empty. Yes. See, now they don't know what to do. They're chasing their tail. Well, what do you think it is? I'm glad you asked. I think it's hogwash. I think it's urination. I think somebody urinated in it. Don't ask me what I think. That's the dumbest thing you can do in a courtroom. Well, what do you think? Well, I think that you want me to stand up and pull my pants down and show you. That's what I think. See, you don't want to ask me any questions like that. They won't ask me a question like that, not anymore, because it's literally ludicrous. So, is a glass that has 16 ounces of water, is it half full or is it half empty?
Well, depends on your mood if you wake up in the morning.
No, sir. Okay, ask me the same question.
You have a glass that has 32-ounce capacity and you put 16 ounces in it. Is it half full or half empty?
Yes, sir, it is. Darn right. Yes, sir. Yepers. Okay, Your Honor, I want that question, because he made no comment. I want that question stricken from the record. We ain't doing too well here. By the end of the night, see, when I was indicted, they kept me there for 9.5 hours and only got 4 questions answered, because I answered them and they didn't know what to do. So then, well, Your Honor, since the prosecuting attorney has his head up his butt, don't know what he's saying, I want that stricken from the record. If he doesn't, then I'm going to object. I'll be right there. Hey, thank you for dinner. Does that make sense to you?
In theory, it makes sense. In practice, I'm obviously lacking.
Well, that may be the case, but what I'm trying to say to you, excuse me here, I'm getting in my truck, I'm going to go home for the day. I got my job done here for the day. No, what I'm trying to tell you is, see, we have been trained to think a certain way, and they take advantage of us by doing that. So, okay, Eric, I'm going to ask you a question, you answer it, and then you ask me the same question. Are you married?
Married to what?
Okay, married to your wife.
No.
Okay, then who's married to your wife?
Who says I'm married?
Well, I asked you if you was married to your wife, and you said no, so who's married to her?
How do you know I have a wife?
See what you're doing? You're defending that. That's what you should have said is, hell if I know, I'm not married to her. See? Instead of what you're doing is you're sparring. You can't win the spar. See?
Yeah.
Because they, see, now ask me the same thing.
Are you married to your wife?
Thank you for asking. No, I'm married to yours.
Married what? Oh, married to yours.
I'm married to yours.
Nice. What kind of response do you get from the judge on that one?
What do you mean? Well, my wife, her name ain't yours. My wife's name is Patricia. So if you had asked if I was married to Patricia, I'd have said yeah. But you asked me, are you married to your wife? No, I'm married to yours. See, I don't have to answer a question that I don't understand. Now let me ask you a question. How far is it from the earth to the sun and back? How far is that? Okay, by your silence.
In miles?
See? Okay, I'm going to play along and show you how you just stepped in it. By miles.
By miles? I don't know the answer to that question.
See? Okay. Why would you ask me for miles? See, what if they would have asked me, how far is the moon from the Earth to the sun and back? I don't know. I'm not a geologist. See, or I would have said, I don't know. I'm not a veterinarian.
Okay.
Because now, what do you mean by veterinarian? Well, those are the people that measure the distance between the Earth and the sun, aren't they? Well, no, they're not. Oh, well, I thought they were. See, now I own the conversation. I'm always so far off the target, they don't know what to say. They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming. So, get back to, do you have another, did that help at all? If it did, I'm going to move on. If it didn't, we'll stay on here longer. That's up to you.
No, you can go on.
Okay, now, the number one problem that I'm having, and I'm not having the problem, the number one problem that I get, people call me, say, the IRS wrote me a letter and they're ignoring all of my letters. Well, let me tell you what I'm finding out. When you write a letter to the IRS, you sons of bitches, you can't do that because I'm a sovereign, or you can't do that because in 1938 they passed a law saying this. You can't do that because Title 26 says this. We can't tell them that. See? My answer is on almost everything is, oh, thank you for writing me a letter. I appreciate it. You're so sweet. What evidence do you have that I didn't do whatever it is you're asking? And I send it back. I'm going to give you 30 days to answer. If you don't answer me, then I guess you means you don't know either. See, I'm not going to get into all this, well, Title 26, Section 49, 22. See, but if I have to, I will. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have a cell phone?
Thank you for asking. I have a ham radio.
You see? Well, I didn't ask you that. Oh, I didn't know. See? In other words, see how simple that became? Now I've got to come back. Now I've got to come back and get you back. Well, what I meant was, well, then you should have said that first time. See? See, instead of saying, well, yeah, in fact, I got 3 of them. They're smartphones. Oh, and they're made by or they're made by Samsung. See, what we're doing is we're asked a question and we tell them and tell them and tell them and tell them. All they're doing is making notes so that the next question they ask you, you've already buried yourself. See? Now, are you retired, or Eric, or do you still work?
Well, what's the definition of retired and what's the definition of work?
See how simple that was? Now ask me the same thing.
Are you retired, or are you still working?
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Hello? See, what are you going to say to something like that? What are you going to say to something like that? Well, which one? Well, hell yeah. No, which one? Yes, sir. See, that's the same thing as asking you, is 16 ounces in a 32-ounce glass, is it half full or half empty? Well, it's half full. You liar. It's half empty. Well, I meant it's half empty. You liar, it's half full. You can't win that argument. See? That's what I do all the time. Well, is it half full or half empty? Hell yeah. It sure is. Man, you're the first guy that's ever got it right. What? What did I get right? That's what I mean. See? They don't have a clue what's going on. But that's the question they ask. Does that make sense? See, I only answer the question they ask. Not what I think they asked, not what I think they want to say, not to try to protect myself. See, I just answer the question that's asked. Now, Eric, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you, how tall are you, if you don't mind me asking? You can ask me and tell me you're tall or short. I don't care. How tall are you?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm as tall as a lamppost.
You're as tall as a lamppost. Okay, so you're 40 feet tall.
Yes. Are you making an assumption?
No, you said as tall as a light post. Light posts are 40 feet tall. Now, ask me the same question. Well, ask me the same question. I'm just not sure how to stay out of trouble like that, because that's what they do to you. Ask me the same question.
How tall are you?
Thank you for asking. 166 centimeters.
Okay.
You still can't use it, can you?
I'm not sure what the bill is.
That's what I mean. That's what. Okay, then I'm right. I got my case. Okay, give me just, and you can lie to me here too, because I don't really care. But how old are you?
76.
Okay, I'm 69,936 minutes. See? I'm answering the question. Well, that ain't what we asked. Bullshit. That's exactly what you asked. You asked me how old I was. Well, we met in years. Then why didn't you tell me that in the first place? Then I'll tell them. See, they have to ask every question at least twice, normally 3 times. See? Now I've neutered the question because the question's no good to them anymore. That's all I try to do. If they ask me 50 questions and I neuter 48 of them, they really have no case anymore. Does that make sense to you?
It sure does.
Okay, now, do you have any income coming in?
What is the definition?
Hello? Go ahead.
What's the definition of income?
Okay.
I mean, I've got water coming in. I've got water coming in to the house through the sink. I've got, bills going into my body.
Do you see how the story changes now, don't it? See?
Yeah.
See? But income is defined at Title 31, Section 321, D as in dog, the number 2. The government has defined it for you.
Is it a gift?
If you got it, yes. If you got an email from Ed tonight, or somebody sent it to you, it's defined there for you. We just have to use the law on them. See, we just have to use what we have, and it works really well. So, does anybody else have a question that I can answer for them?
Harry, I got
Yep.
a question for you. This is Patrick in Houston here. They're notorious for saying yes or no. Did you?
Okay, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can somebody relay that to me?
They'll ask you a question and they'll say yes or no, and so you got to answer one of those. One option of a yes or a no. How do you respond to something like that?
All right, let me show you. When I was indicted, the prosecuting attorney, I was running off at the mouth, so she said, "Okay, stop this. I'm going to ask you 6 questions, and I want you to answer it yes or no." I said, "Okay." She said, "Did you file a 1040?" I said, "Yes or no." "Well, did you? Yes or no?" "Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you? Yes or no?" She said, "Your Honor." She looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" She told me to answer yes or no, and I did. What she meant was say yes, no. Oh, then ask the question again. So So she said, did you file a 1040? I said, yes. No. See? Now, if they ask me, is there a reason you didn't file a 1040? The first thing I say is, wow, thank you for asking. What proof do you have that I didn't file it? Well, we don't have it. You didn't say, did I send it to you? You asked me if I filed it. Well, I don't care. Let them discuss. Well, what we meant was, then I object to that. I want that question stricken from the questions on the ground. She doesn't know what she asked. She asked me. She said I did not file a 1040. I asked her what proof, and now she's changing her story. I want that question struck from the record. The judge has no choice but to strike it from the record. Does that make sense?
It does.
I didn't say it was easy, but that's how I answer everything.
They're not. It's like you have to have firsthand. You have to be a first-hand knowledge to be a credible witness. So they don't really have any type of credibility.
Okay, that's the reason I do it this way. See, that's the reason I do it this way, because you're correct. The problem we're having, though, is we always want to come back with it and say things like, did you file a 1040? I don't have to. There's no law that says I have to. See? Well, wait a minute. How do you know there's no law that says? Well, because there's no law that says I have to. Read book by Billy Bob. It says right there on page 61. There's no law that says I have to file a 1040. Well, see, now they're going to take it. Well, okay. Are you an attorney? No. See? So my answer is, did you file a 1040? I'm glad you asked me that. I'm confused.
Too much information. Yeah.
See? That's what we're doing. We're giving too much information out. And we have to be careful of that. See, when you answer a question, did you file a 1040? Yes. Well, how come we didn't get it? Hell, if I know why you asked me now. In 1938, I filled out 12 of them. No, I meant recently. Oh, well, you didn't say that. Now I'm confused. See, they can't get. When I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, I was a youth pastor, and one of the guys who went to the church had a farm. Every summer we'd go out there for a weekend, or on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and he had little pigs, and I'd put Dawn on them, and I'd slick them suckers down. And the kids, I drove a Corvette at the time. Any kid that could catch the pig, I would pick them up at their home, take them to church the next Sunday, and they could ride in a brand new Corvette. So it was real popular. Problem is, I never took anybody. You can't catch a greased baby pig. You just can't do it. Well, that's how I am. See, before I answer the question, I always think about if I say this, what's going to happen? It just happens real fast. So let me ask you a question, the guy that just asked me that. What kind of car do you drive?
Thank you for asking. What's a car?
Okay, it's got 4 tires on the ground, a steering wheel, air conditioning, and an engine. Okay, by your silence, I'm going to hold you in contempt. Hello? Okay, then we're going to give you 120 days for contempt. We'll pick up like say you can't do it that. See, ask me the same question.
You drive a car?
Well, of course.
What kind of car do you drive?
Whichever one I have the keys for. Okay, Your Honor, by their silence, I want this kind of questioning stricken from the record. See? Now you can't ask me that anymore. If you do, I'm going to object. I'm going to object. If you had a chance to ask me, I answered. Now he won't go on. They're lost. They don't know what to do. They just don't know how to do it. See? Has anybody ever ate a fried turkey?
Yes, they're very juicy.
All right. What do they taste like?
To who?
To you.
They taste like
a sheep.
You know what I would have said? To me, yeah. Oh, man, it tastes like grilled bald eagle. See? Well, how do you know how bald eagle tastes like? The question is, what proof do you have that I don't know what it tastes like? See, it doesn't matter to me. See, I'm not going to stand and argue with them. That's where our problem is. See, everything that I'm telling you is all jurisdictional. See? If you get a letter from the IRS and you have your court order, don't say a word to them. Take your court order, fold it, put it in an envelope. Take their envelope, put it in an envelope. Take the letter they sent you, put it in an envelope, and just mail it back. Don't say a word. Just mail it back to the address that you got it from. Don't say a word. Now you can't be saying too much. Don't write a letter. Don't do nothing. You'll go 6, 8, 10 months. They'll send you something else. Take your court order, put it in an envelope. Take the envelope they sent, put it in there, and then take their letter and put it in there, and just mail it back. See, I'm not going to. Well, you can't do that. I can't do what? See, because I answered the letter. They don't know what to do with it. The only thing they do is write back and say, well, that's not what that says. Well, what did it say? See, who's got their court order in front of them that I can ask them a question about it so we can see the power that it has? Does anybody on here have theirs that don't mind reading just one part of it?
Give me a second, I'll have mine, Kerry.
Okay, great. While you're doing that, does anybody else have a question? I'm going to show you the power that we have in this court order, why I tell you to get it. I'm not giving legal advice, but, see? But if you like ice cream, I want you to read the first sentence of it.
Okay, the first sentence.
Okay, before you do, who told you that the IRS doesn't have jurisdiction? Who told you that?
Well, I can't tell you. It's been so many years. I don't know.
Well, you got it right there in front of you. Don't you have it right there in front of you?
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, who's telling you? Wait a second. Who's telling you?
Revenue is a respondent. Order of dismissal for lack of jurisdiction.
Now. Hang on. Who's telling you the IRS does not have jurisdiction? Who's telling you that?
United States Tax Court.
No.
The IRS commissioner.
It's the commission. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. So when I have to write a letter, that's what I send. I send my court order saying the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, parentheses, your boss said. Then I quote it. It's highlighted and enclosed for your convenience. And I send it back with their letter and everything else. So I'm not going to get into an argument with them. But if you got one, it says respondent. The respondent is the commissioner. So the commissioner is telling you the IRS doesn't have jurisdiction. It's not the tax court. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
See, so what you have is you have the big dog telling you they don't have jurisdiction. See? So if you have to write a letter to them, you would say, well, according to the commissioner, parentheses, your boss, the big man, the boss man, whatever. See, I just do it that way. The commissioner, parentheses, the boss, said, you don't have jurisdiction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you off this time. Fix the records to state what the commissioner said, and I won't put you in jail. Oh, by the way, have a Merry Christmas. Sign it and send it to them. I'm done. See, I'm not going to stand here and argue with them. You can't get anywhere with them. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, it's like trying to hold traffic court on the side of the road.
That's exactly right. See, all you have to do is when the officer comes up, I'm very kind. I ask him a few questions, and then when I get to court, when I ask him those same questions, he can't answer them. He can answer them beside the road because he's got a gun, a club, a taser, and a brass knuckles, and a big flashlight. See, but when we're in court, he don't have all that. So now he can't answer the question. See?
What questions do you ask?
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said the emperor wears no clothes.
That's exactly right. The emperor wears no clothes. When I get pulled over, I'm just very nice. He says, get out of your truck. I always say, no. Why? Well, because I'm scared. You have a gun. And the government you work for said guns kill people. I'm a people, and I don't want to get out and get killed. Then I just shut my mouth. Well, I'm not going to shoot you. Wait a minute. I didn't say you were going to do it. I said your gun is, because the government says that you work for said guns kill people. Believe it or not, officer, I'm a people, and I don't want to take that chance. See? Yeah, I said get out. Okay, thank you. So that when I get him in court, I'm going to ask him. I'll ask him in court, okay, officer, on side of the road, is this a true statement? The government that you work for has made this statement, guns kill people. Well, yeah. Do you carry a gun? Yeah. Am I a people? Yeah. You made me get out of the car and put my life in risk because you carried a gun. Isn't that a true statement? Then I just shut my mouth. And he starts stumbling around, and he didn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to say because I got everything I wanted. So I don't even care. I'm not even there for the argument of I drive and I'm traveling. I don't have a driver's license. It ain't about that anymore. It's about the fact that the government he works for made the statement, guns kill people. He's carrying a gun. He told me to get out of my car. And I was scared for my life. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah.
See, I try to make it what it's not. Does that make sense?
So what's the turnaround time for these petitions these days? Is it 4 months, 6 months, a year?
Yes.
From somebody who's done it recently?
Yes. You're asking me a question I can't tell you. We got them back just the other day. I got one back in 3 weeks. But we've also got one back that took a year. So okay. They're always blaming something else. But I'll say this to you. If you don't send it in, you'll never get it back. But remember, while you have it in there, they're going to acknowledge that they got it. It's going to be on the website, print where they got it. Then when the IRS writes you a letter, you say, "Hey, this is in tax court. I'm trying to have it adjudicated. I wish you wouldn't write me any more letters until this is adjudicated." Put it in and send it back. See, they can't interfere with the court. Doesn't that make sense to you?
Yeah. So, I mean, when didn't you say at some point the DOJ is going to call and ask why you're filing this? And
they are. They're going to ask you that. Now, I'm going to ask you. If they call you, what are you going to say? Why are you filing this? What are you going to tell them?
I haven't received a notice of determination or whatever it says for these years.
There you go. That's all you say. Yeah, but wait. Do you think you should pay taxes?
Well, you hang up as soon as you say your piece and say, have a nice day. Hang up.
You can do it that way, see? Don't get into an argument. Wait, before you hang up. Just hang up anyway. See? In other words, why are you doing this? See? Instead of, I'm going to show you how smart I am, by God. I got 3 fish, 2 squirrels, and a $50 bill. See, don't worry about that. Why are you doing this? Well, because I never received a notice of deficiency or notice of determination for 2000 to 2020. Click. You're done. See, but they're going to ask you, we're going to put in a motion to dismiss. Do you have any objections? No, I don't. Then hang up. See, but I just want you to be prepared. They're going to call you. They call 100% of the time. So they're going to call you. But don't get in an argument. That's not where you need to have it. Just like with the police on the side of the road when he pulls me over. I'm not going to get out of the car and show him my muscles and try to beat him up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit there and tell him, get out of your truck. No, I'm afraid to. I'm afraid for my life. What do you mean? Well, sir, if you take your gun and put it in your squad car, I'll get out. But the government you work for says guns kill people, and you're carrying a gun, and I'm scared. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to get out of my truck because your gun might shoot me. What's he going to say? Well, no, mine won't. Oh, really? Huh. Okay, I'm going to write that down. We'll tell the judge that when we get to court. See, they don't know what to say to me. What are they going to say? Well, mine won't. Well, how come the government didn't say yours didn't? Well, is it the 9mm? Is it the 40 caliber? 45? Is it because it's a revolver? I mean, they don't specify. The government says guns kill people. That's a gun. I'm a people. I'm afraid. I'm scared to get out of my truck. I'm scared to death. I'm really afraid. What if that sucker shoots me more than once? See, I just use what they say. Anything they say can and will be used against them. I'm just an asshole that way. Doesn't that make sense? Instead of saying, well, I'm not in travel, I'm not traveling, or I'm not driving, well, I'm not in commercial. Look, man, I'm not pulling no trailer. What do you know about the law? None of that matters to me. He's carrying a gun. He's carrying a known killer. He's carrying a known killer, and he's harboring and holding on to it. He's protecting a killer. A known killer that his government said could kill people. I'm a people. I don't want to die today. I'm scared.
So what if you're carrying? Like, whenever I'm in my car, I've got my 9mm on my hip.
So if you get out, I can't get out. Why? Because mine might go off and kill you. I don't want that to happen. See?
Okay.
Get out. I can't. Why? I'm saving your life. Guns kill people. I'm carrying it. And I don't want to kill you. I don't want it to go off by accident because the government says that guns kill people, not people. See? When you start this shit, it's a completely different. Well, then just stay in your truck. Thank you. I will. They don't know what to do with me. See what I'm saying? It's like a tiger. He's going to claw you to death, or you grab his tail and he'll drag you to death. They don't know what to do. Do they want to be drugged to death? Do they want to get clawed to death? It doesn't matter to me. That's how I do everything, though. Now, I want you to think about this. Doesn't that make sense? Guns.
So they don't mess with you anymore?
Well, if I get pulled over and they ask me who I am, I give them my passport because I don't have a driver's license. He goes back there. He goes back to the car and he comes up and says, "Here, give me a paper. Would you slow down?" "Yes, sir, I sure will. I'll make sure I got my brakes on at the same time. No problem. I'll hold this bad boy back." Ready?
Yep.
Because the problem again, he gives me tickets from time to time, but when I show up at the courthouse, they just dismiss it. They can't have me in the courtroom. See, when I get to the courtroom and they call the police up there, they'll say, "Do you have any questions?" I'm scared to ask him because he threatened my life when I was pulled over, Your Honor. What do you mean? Yeah, he's carrying a gun, and that gun, they kill people. He's got it in there now, and if I question him, it might go off and shoot me. I'm scared to ask him any questions.
3 minutes, Chris.
Okay, because, see, so we're in court, and the cop says, well, yeah, I was scared of you then. Now you're here, then you got your same gun. I'm scared to death, Your Honor. I'm afraid. Shoot, the bailiff's got one. I'm standing here, and they got all these guns thrown me. I'm a people, and they could go off and kill anybody at any moment. Aren't you scared? See? They don't want that shit in the court. Doesn't that make sense? The guy that carries his 9mm, yeah.
Have you ever threatened to send you up for a psychological evaluation?
Yes, they have. And here's how I got that. They'll say, well, we need to send you for a psychological evaluation. I say, well, I object to that because you're going to send me to a psychiatrist. In 1 hour, he's going to tell you whether I'm nuts or not. My mom raised me for the first 20 years, said I'm not nuts. I'm just different. So I object. Now, I mooted that. They can send me if they want to. He'll come back to the guy's nuts. I'm going to appeal on the grounds my mother lived with me for 20 years and said I was different. I wasn't nuts. Now, does my mother know me more than that doctor that had me for 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever? Now I got something I can get traction on.
Got it.
See, everything that I do, I just, because my mom knows me better than that psychiatrist. You're going to go in for an mental evaluation. Well, I object. My mom said I was different, not nuts. So will this nut doctor, will that nut doctor know me as well as my mother? What's he going to say? Well, no. Well, then we got a problem. No, I'll be glad to go. See, then they say, well, we're not going to send you. Well, you can if you want. But they already know the argument. How are they going to win an argument? My mother said I was different, not nuts. Okay?
Time's up.
People, thank you for coming. I hope you learned something. And it was my pleasure as usual. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ed.
Okay. Yeah. Thank all of you for calling in tonight.
Yes, and if you want to get a hold of me, email Ed and put your phone number on there so I can get a hold of you. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.